I guess a good place to start is what exactly is it that I mean, you have a pretty cool story. What is it that you wanted to change about your life using these ideas?
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me on. And
Yeah, of course. Thanks for
the
doing it.
the main thing that I wanted to change that I'd like to share today is my
Yeah,
health. I wanted to get optimum health. I felt
yeah,
that if I could get control of my body, then I could control anything in my life.
yeah,
That was really a big thing for me. Struggling with health before in the past, and struggling with overeating and not eating too
yeah,
much, and it was just like I felt like I was on a yo-yo diet to where here's the story. What happened? It was
yeah,
specifically it was June 29th. I'll never forget the day, 2015, when I got fed up with it. I was going into a summer party here. I'm here in Sacramento on the river, and I wanted to look my best. I didn't want to be fat out there,
yeah,
so I diet just like anybody.
yeah,
I diet, but I dieted too much. I didn't eat enough.
yeah,
So I get there, and I'm almost literally passing out from not having enough calories.
yeah,
And so I didn't have a good time. I didn't drink
yeah,
anything, but I didn't eat enough. So I'm like, it just was miserable. So then I leave the party, and then I have about 4,000 calories. And then again, the same thing the next day, and I felt miserable. It was just like going from like 1,200 calories to 4,000. It's just like, this is just not working. And I felt and looked miserable. It's just like, I'm fed up with this. And I made a decision. I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure this out. I don't know how, but I'm going to get the body that I want of a Greek god, and I'm going to do it.
yes,
I don't know how.
yes. I
And I
love that you
used those
say that. I
words,
want,
I want to look like a Greek god. I don't know how.
yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's going to happen. And that's basically what I wanted.
Well, I love that you say the body of a Greek god because you weren't afraid to be really specific, but also to really go for it. I mean, you're not holding back there. You're like, I want the ultimate body. I'm not looking for just some mediocre sort of healthy body. If this stuff works, I'm going to put it to the test and I'm going to really go for it. And I think that's really cool. So I like that you describe it as the body of a Greek god. That's cool to me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And it's funny because looking at you now, it seems like this is the type of guy who's always been super healthy. You just look like you've always been athletic for as long as you've been alive. And to hear that, oh, you didn't, you actually struggled with these issues, it's just a testament to how dramatic the changes can be if you put it into practice, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, Soren. And there's a lot of stories I have about the law of attraction working in my life for years. But when it comes down to what can I prove, and I think what's going to help the most amount of people, it's getting control of my health, because it's like I think that that's so important, because if I'm not healthy, it's hard to be happy, and
Yeah,
it's just really a big deal. And
right.
it was just critical to me. So I think you asked about what was your question?
Yeah, well, once you decided, this is what I want to do. I want to have the body of a Greek god. What did you go about to make that happen? I mean, did you decide I'm going to try and use ideas like positive thinking and the law of attraction in order to do that? Or
I did. And what happened was this. I knew from past experience the law of attraction was real. And I knew the process I had success with before. So I thought, well, if it worked before, why don't I use the same strategies? And really the strategy was, you know, I thought of people that I admired,
hmm
and I wrote down and I said every day that I'm going to be like them. And I mean, I can give you a couple of specific examples for me. I mean, other people may have different people, but this is my story.
uh-huh,
I wanted to have the health and fitness of a guy called Tony Horton. I wanted to be
yeah,
like ripped and shredded like
yeah,
Brad Pitt used to look on Troy.
yeah,
That's how I want to look. I wanted to
yeah,
be flexible and athletic and quick like Bruce Lee. I
right,
wanted to be agile and to be able to jump like a baseball player I like called Eric Burns. And
yeah,
I wanted to have the aesthetics of
uh,
the aesthetics king, this guy called Disease.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
these are my personal goals. It's
Yeah.
extreme, but I wanted the best. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to settle until I got that.
Yeah.
And at first it was like, man, how the heck am I going to do this? I'm here
Yeah.
struggling with everything. How am I going to? So it was hard, but
Yeah.
because I made a decision and I started looking in the mirror and saying this every day,
Yeah.
the next couple months,
Uh-huh.
I started believing it. Okay,
Yeah.
when I didn't believe it. I mean, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
believe it. After a few months, I believed it.
Yeah. Yeah. It took a couple months though. But you said it every day in front of the mirror. Yeah.
Every day, and I would literally say it every day, and I would eventually. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I don't know how. I
Uh-huh.
never knew how. I didn't focus on how. It seemed
Yeah.
like that was the big problem. Is that if I thought about how, I would get frustrated because
Yeah.
nothing was changing.
Right.
Nothing had changed. It felt like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm going to do this, and so that was. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, was there a moment when you kind of looked in the mirror after saying this for months and months and months and you said, holy shit, like I did it. Like I'm there. I mean, I know no one's ever perfect and you're always trying to improve. There's always a new plateau to reach. But I'm just curious. I mean, I've seen some of I mean, I know you have some before and after pictures online, which everyone should check out because they're pretty incredible to see. And I mean, your physique is definitely the physique of a Greek god in those after pictures. You have just the ideal whatever. And I don't know. I'm just curious. Once you attained that, did you sort of feel like, wow, I did it? Or did you start nitpicking like, oh, well, I can improve this now and I can improve this now? Um,
That's the question. I feel like there's still always room to improve.
yeah, yeah,
I think every day there's that aha moment that I
yeah,
laugh.
yeah,
And first of all, I'm not into fitness. I'm not even a
uh-huh,
health guy. I mean, that's
yeah,
not my business. I'm
yeah,
just a guy who wanted to get better health. So that's just
yeah,
put that on record. That's not
yeah,
what I do. I have nothing to do with fitness or any of that. So
yeah,
I just wanted better health, right? So
right.
this is just, I went for it though. But to answer your question, was there a moment? I'd say, it's recent. I mean, within the last month or
Yeah,
two, I really felt like, wow, I think really even this month, I just felt like
yeah,
I'm, I'm, I feel like I'm getting there. I'm
yeah,
never
yeah,
perfect, but
yeah,
I feel like I'm pretty close. Like I feel
right.
like I've made a lot of progress, put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, for
And
sure. Right.
it feels, the main thing, Soren, that feels good
Yeah,
is just constant tiny improvements.
yeah,
And that was my biggest, I think, mistake
yeah,
is not celebrating the little improvements. Whether
yeah,
it be I lost, and I actually took it down to measurements because
yeah.
and that's crazy, but I don't care. I measured
Uh-huh,
all my body parts
uh-huh,
on this date, and then like a week later, I do it again, and a week later, and
uh-huh.
I was like, hey, I'm a quarter of a centimeter, smaller here, or whatever, or
Yeah,
bigger here, or whatever I wanted, and
yeah,
that's really good. Wasn't
yeah.
much, but I'm a little closer,
Right, right.
you know. And then after a month, I was like, wait a second, this is working.
Yeah.
Now, when I look back, Soren, at
Uh-huh.
where I was
Yeah,
last summer
yeah,
compared to now,
yeah.
it's so profound that it's like, oh my gosh, it
It
really is a
is.
big thing. When I look at the measurements now,
Yeah,
and I think if anyone was to try to accomplish a goal, whether if it's in health, if they want to get to ideal health, it's important what I did, which is writing down where I started, and
yeah,
then a week later, just tracking the progress,
yeah,
because that's really, and then taking pictures too, but
yeah,
that's where I really celebrate because I say, wow, it's
yeah,
working.
yeah. That's cool. I mean, that's such a cool story, and I think it can help so many people, because it's not only about looking good and feeling confident, but it's about feeling healthy so that you can be happy and really reach your highest potential. So I know this story is going to inspire a lot of people. I think one more question that kind of comes to mind for me, just because, I mean, like a lot of people, I definitely want to improve my physique, and I work out here and there, when I'm feeling motivated, and I try and stick to it. I think one of the hangups that I have, and I'm just curious if you had to deal with this at all, is I sort of think, well, my genetics don't allow for it, or I simply don't have the bone structure of this particular person, or, you know, so I sort of start to feel like, well, that particular thing is maybe out of my control, and so what's the point? How did you deal with those type of thought, or maybe you didn't have them, maybe I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And the way I dealt with it is I had to accept that I would never be 250-pound bodybuilder. That's just not how I was built. I would never be 6'5" frame. I just
Yeah,
there's certain things that they're just not possible. Okay, I mean they're just
yeah,
not going to happen. I wasn't
yeah,
built that way. So you have a good point. I mean, there's
yeah,
certain things that are out of my control. I just don't have that type of size.
yeah.
But I'm okay and happy with just going for my best.
Right, right.
My best.
Yeah,
And my best is, 160 pounds,
yeah,
lean, I mean, I'm at about 9% body fat right now. I want to get a little
yeah,
leaner,
yeah,
but that's a really good goal.
yeah,
I could never get below 15%. That was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and that's okay, but that was like that was starving myself
yeah,
15%, like
yeah,
starved. So
yeah,
being below 10 is just was like, oh my gosh, it was a
jeez,
breakthrough.
yeah,
I felt that, yeah, the main thing is accepting what I was dealt with, the cards I was dealt with, and what is the best I can be,
mm,
and who are some people that I can look up to that, you know, I'll never be like Arnold Schwarzenegger or these guys, but I mean, let me just look at some guys who are natural guys,
yeah,
everyday guys, aren't
yeah,
pros.
yeah,
Professional's different, and
yeah, yeah,
how can I, one day be like that?
right,
So
right,
having kind of a base point, but not setting the goal too high. The other thing is
yeah,
um, focusing on, this is a big deal. Okay,
uh-huh,
it will help you. Will help anybody.
yeah,
And I failed on this miserably. I used to be hard on myself and say, by January 1st, I'm going to do this, and that's it, period. And then doubt would creep in and say, man, it's only 3 months away. I'm getting too close. I don't know if I can make it
mm,
January 1st. And so I would set myself on this impossible time frame.
yes,
And while I wanted it by then, I didn't believe it. And so I would start
yeah,
pushing it away.
yeah,
So what worked was saying, I'm going to do this very, very soon, as soon as
yeah,
possible.
yeah,
That
right,
was a big breakthrough, because
right,
once I freed myself from the stress of saying, boy, I got to do it by this date, that
hmm,
was a big deal. That helped.
yeah, and that makes sense to me because it's about, in a lot of ways, I think maybe it's about tailoring your goals so that you can believe them, right? Pushing those boundaries of what you can believe, but still playing within that framework so that way, you don't have too many doubts to deal with. Because if you get overwhelmed with doubts because you set the goals way too unrealistically high, then it just gets unnecessarily difficult, right? So it's about finding that happy medium where you're stretching your beliefs, you're stretching your expectations, but at the same time, you can, with work, convince yourself that it's true, that it can be achieved, and ultimately that you have it now, right? Because when you're looking in the mirror, that's what you're saying. You're saying, I have it now, right?
Yeah, I have it now. And, the funny thing that you say, Soren, uh, the most important thing to me was I wanted confidence.
Yeah, yeah,
And once I quantified that, it helped me get there. So,
yeah,
well, this was like the physical thing that I could technically see,
uh-huh,
that was like, hey, this is going to be what I'll be able to see as results. But at the end of the day, I wanted more confidence. And
right,
I
right,
felt this would give me more confidence. So
yeah,
that was really what I wanted, with a burning desire, was the
yeah,
confidence. So that
right,
was the motivation, and identifying the why. Because I think
yeah,
that's really the key reason that anyone watching this is identifying the real why.
Yeah.
Sure, I want to look good. Yeah, I want to be more healthy, but what's the real reason? Well, I want more
Yeah.
confidence. That was the
Right.
real reason.
Right.
And so identifying that, it helped kind of free me up and motivate me more that I'm going to have more
Yeah.
confidence. And it works. I feel
Yeah.
great. I feel amazing. But this
Yeah.
is just something that is, I feel like since I got control of my health, I got control of my body, which
Mhm.
is something I struggled with, but looking back on it, it was really easy once I allowed
Yeah.
the things to come into my life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I had to make changes, but
Right.
once I allowed the things to help me get there come
Uh-huh.
into my life, I did not spend money. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
I spent less money.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the crazy part. It's like, oh, you spent all this money. No, I did not buy any supplements. No
Jeez.
supplements.
No whey protein or anything like that?
I had whey protein,
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
but was that
Yeah.
a big part of it? I don't know. But there was
Right.
no supplements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that stuff gets expensive, like all the pills and all the other stuff like that. Yeah.
I did not take any pills or supplements. So that was a big thing for me. And I used to think that was the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah. Yeah.
The supplements will get me there. No, it's not the supplements.
Hmm.
And if anybody wants to know what it was really I finding something called intermittent fasting and
Yeah.
being calorie deficit. That was really what it
Yeah.
came down to.
Yeah.
So
And
once I found
right.
that and started experimenting with it, it allowed me to get control of my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting that you
Yeah.
put it that way. Well, yeah, you definitely have a lot more information about that on your website too. So if you guys are curious, definitely check out his before and after pics and his website where he goes into more detail about the diet he used and everything. But and I'll put links to that in the video description. But I think that's great, man. Any other maybe final tips for someone who trying to get their health in control, trying to get all that
You know,
going?
set define your dream,
Yeah.
uncover the real reason. Okay? That's the key. Define your dream, uncover the real reason,
Right.
and then start taking action and measure and celebrate the little tiny success
Yes.
weekly.
Yes.
Just the little things.
Right.
Because it's not going to happen. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but just
Yeah.
a little thing. Celebrate it and be happy and grateful that you made a little bit of progress.
Cool.
That's really what I think will help the most amount of people. Define your dream, find out exactly why, and then just track the results, just slowly and celebrate the little tiny success that you have.
Awesome. Awesome. Just one last question I have, just it comes to my mind. When you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, not to keep going back to that, but you're saying I already have these things. Don't you feel like there's a bit of a conflict between what you're seeing in the mirror at that moment and what you're saying? How did you deal with that dissonance there?
Well, that's a good question. It may help some people to say, I am going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Supposed to, I am.
Right. So that way they can feel it. Yeah.
100%
Is that what you
believe.
did, or is that what you specifically did?
I said I am. I
Yeah.
said I am.
Yeah.
As fit, more ripped. I said
Yeah.
I am personally, and I believed it. I mean, I didn't believe it at first. It took time.
Yeah.
It did. I mean,
Right.
it took a couple months
Right.
to do that. But I said
Right.
I am, more fit than Tony Horton. I am, just as healthy. I'm gonna have this body. But I would say I'm going to have it at times. So
Yeah. It just depends how it felt at the moment, If you felt like you could say I am, then you were saying that. If you felt a bit more doubtful, maybe you had to say I'm going to, and that made you feel better. It's about what made you feel better. But yeah, go ahead.
It wasn't to say very soon.
Yeah.
I would say very soon.
Yeah.
That was freeing because I at first I wanted it by a certain date, and that caused a disconnect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I didn't see how that was possible.
Right. Right. Cool.
But once it said very soon, it started. Things started unfolding a lot faster.
Yeah.
And to elaborate on your point about looking in the mirror a little bit,
Yeah.
if you like.
Yeah.
From my study and practice, if I could recommend anything, is I identified looking in the mirror in the left eye, my left eye,
That seems to be
Huh.
the gateway to the subconscious mind, and
Really?
creating a passion to it. It's not.
Huh.
It takes time, but eventually you connect. It connects, and this is how Bruce Lee did it.
Ooh.
And he. This is exactly how he eventually got what his goals. Is
Yeah.
this deep in the left eye, concentrated on it, telling yourself, breaking through the conscious mind to then
Wow.
getting through this to the subconscious to eventually the conscious believes it and it says, all right, take over. And that's when it
Right.
starts to happen.
Cool. I've never heard of that. That's news to me about the left eye. I like it though. Yeah, you just really looking yourself in the eye and just almost, yeah, speak. It's like you're looking at your subconscious almost. Just really directing everything you say to it. That's cool. I like that.
It's like
Yeah.
my mind wants to look away.
Yeah.
It wants to look away. I challenge people to see what happens to them because
Yeah.
my mind
Yeah.
wants to look away, but then I'm like, no, look at my, no.
That's funny. That's
Like,
funny.
oh, look away, wait, do it. And so it's
Yeah.
pretty, it works. Okay, it works.
Cool. Well, I hope everyone watching this video tries it for themselves because, yeah, I think it's worth a shot for sure. And, well, thanks again. I really appreciate it. Great
Thank you,
interview.
Soren.